The City of Charleston Tourism Commission voted 9-2 on Wednesday to lower the temperature that horses can be on the streets from 98 to 95. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with Tommy Doyle Jr. of Palmetto Carriage Works. Tommy, it is so good to see you.
Quintin, thanks for coming in.
Anytime. Finally.
My dad, my brother, now me. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Anytime. You know, the last time I saw you was ironically at Charleston City Hall. Obviously, you were there for the Livability Tourism Commission meeting in regards to horse carriages.
Right.
Let me take you back to that because this particular headline appeared on Wi-Fi-News.com just a few days ago. Quote, Charleston Committee passes ordinance to decrease temperature limit for carriage animals. Channel 5 says this, the City of Charleston's Tourism Commission passed an ordinance to decrease the current temperature limit that determines whether carriage tour animals can work. As you know, that ordinance passed 9-2 and will be presented to City Council. What does that 9-2 vote tell you?
It tells me that the commission got it. It was something that the industry, the veterinarians, and the city, along with the Charleston Animal Society, all got together on, and most of the subcommittee agreed, all except for the Charleston Animal Society. And I think we did a great job making our case at the Tourism Commission, and I believe the commission realized that and saw that, hence the vote 9-2.
Let me finish reading the article. It says this, a special committee formed last year took a look back at 4 years worth of data and is expected to propose to lower the current standards to the ambient temperature of 95 degrees and the heat index of 110 degrees. So what do you expect from City Council?
I would hope that City Council would approve it as well, to drop it to 95 degrees. We put a lot of work into this, and the way the system's supposed to work is subcommittee, commission, and then to City Council. And I plan on being at City Council to let them know that I am in support of this.
Matter of fact, Daniel Rico, the director of the Department of Livability and Tourism, says, quote, we're making strides and moving in a positive direction. It's for the health and welfare of these animals that we're concerned about. So what's the next direction?
That's a very good question. I don't know. This needs to be based on science and fact. And I'm going to be on board with science and fact. And the reason that I agreed to the 95 degrees is because it was based on science and fact. The people that I depend on to help me make the best decision for my animals are the veterinarians. The veterinarians said this was the best thing, and that's why the industry embraced it.
And this particular part of the article stuck out to me because it says this, according to Rico, the city's current official thermometer primary location is Dock Street Feeder, and the secondary thermometer is located at Doubletree Hotel in the downtown market area. I hate to ask this, but what other locations would you want a thermometer to be placed?
Well, the reason for putting it at the city market is that's where the concentration of animals are. And the thermometer that the city uses, how it's installed, where it's installed, is not decided by the city, it's not decided by the industry, it's decided by the manufacturer to get the correct reading of the temperatures. The market area seems to be the best spot because that's where all of us are.
Right. And also, let me go to the other side of this because Carol Linville of Pet Helpers basically said this, quote, let's get a true temperature reading and let's go to a more modern piece of technology to do that. So what's your definition of technology when it comes to animals?
Again, I'm going to defer to the experts on this. The way the National Weather Service, which is good enough for me, does their temperature, the way the news channels do their temperatures, and an accepted way of taking temperature is by a set of guidelines that are laid out by the companies that produce these thermometers. I did not create that, and this is the one that we use. And I would also say that no matter where the thermometer is, the animal welfare program is 100% successful. We don't have any problems. And whether the temperature gauge is on the ground, whether it's on top of a building, whether it's under a tree, whether it's on the river, wherever it is, the most important part of the animal welfare system or code that we use is taking the animal's internal body temperature. I'll have animals that come in here that at 80 degrees, it's too hot for them. Now, following just the temperature guideline, no matter what the temperature is, I would never know that unless we're taking the animal's inner body temperature. To me, that is the most important part of the code. The one that is the best telltale.
You talked about Joel Elmore earlier. Evidently, the Charleston Animal Society has called for an independent study of the carriage's horses by a university. Spokesperson Dan Crossley said the following quote, "We're asking for a scientific peer-reviewed study." So what should that study look like in your mind?
It should be one that doesn't involve the Charleston Animal Society. The Charleston Animal Society, they do great things in this community, and I was a huge supporter of Charlie Carriage when it was the John Ankrum SPCA.
Right.
It was a group that I thought was very level-headed. It had a very common-sense approach to animal welfare. The spay and neuter program that the Charleston Animal Society does is second to none. And this isn't about bashing the Charleston Animal Society, but what's happened is at some point the Charleston Animal Society has gone from a dog and cat shelter, welfare of those animals, and truly helping animals in need, to somewhat of an animal rights group at this point. Some of the tactics that they use, the full page ad in the News and Courier, calling me cruel and inhumane, the call for the ban of carriage tours the summer 2 years ago. And now, try Googling Charleston carriage rides and see what happens. Guess what comes up ahead of me? A link to the Charleston Animal Society that tells them how cruel and inhumane I am. And those are all tactics of animal rights groups. And it's really a shame that a group that did so much good for the community is being radicalized. And I don't know if it's coming from within. I don't know if it's Joe Elmore. I don't know where it's coming from. But at some point recently, they went from an animal welfare group to an animal rights group.
And when you saw that billboard up on I-26, what was going to your mind, Tommy?
Well, the first thing is, I don't necessarily know that that's the Charleston Animal Society. It's I can't tell who it is, so I don't want to blame the Charleston Animal Society for that. But it's disheartening. And what's disheartening is my 9-year-old son, who sees that when he goes by, and he wants to know what's going on. And I don't know if it's worse today to be a child molester or an animal abuser in this society. And what the way the Charleston Animal Society has painted me and my family and my business is frankly despicable. And it's frankly despicable.
Let's fast forward to the future. If Joe Elmore or someone from the Charleston Animal Society wants to come here and say, "Hey, we want to do a one-on-one," how would you go about that?
I am not, at the stage things are right now, I am completely opposed with sitting with Joe Elmore or Kurt Taylor. And what it is, it's the current environment that they have created. The billboards, whether it's them or not, the full page ads in the News and Courier, the relentless attack on social media, the Google Click AdWords. I can't see myself sitting down with a group that's called for my demise, and I don't really see them changing that path.
Well, Tommy Doyle Jr., thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Quintin, thank you so much. Appreciate you coming. Anytime.
Thank you.
All right.